So I have a tip for those of you who would like to stay more true to themselves in their lives, and so also in the bedroom. It's something I discovered myself. I will share with you what I discovered, and I think it's really gonna be helpful for a lot of you. Just a little heads up, if you don't want any details about my sex life, this is your moment to find another video to watch, because this might be too much information for you. And so let's get into it. So what I discovered in my own sex life is that, I wasn't having sex when I really didn't want to. Okay, so if there was like a no, that would be clear. And I know that maybe for some of you, this is also an issue, like to really say no when there's clearly a no to something. So that's something in itself, right? But what I want to talk about is actually this gray zone between, when you have very clearly a no, and between, what are we waiting for? Let's get into it, like total hell yes. And this part, this kind of gray zone, I like to call it, is it's a lot harder to notice, right? And so it's more tricky. And so what I noticed is that I was doing things that I was kind of tolerating a little bit. I wasn't having like a total no. It wasn't like, oh my god, I don't want this. But it was more like, oh, I might get in the mood for this. Or maybe, I don't know if you can relate to that, but oh, I liked this last time, so or I liked this a minute ago, so let's wait it out. Wait till I will like it more. So I was, I was maybe like having a 6 or a 7 in joy, and I was tolerating that. And so as soon as I discovered this, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't like it. I don't like it for myself. I don't like it for my partner if he doesn't know this. And so I decided I wanted to talk to him about this. And this is, if you can relate to this and you want to change this, I can really recommend to first of all announce this to your partner or your partners if you have, several lovers at the moment. Good for you. But maybe you have one steady partner. It doesn't matter. But to announce it. This is because, you might be saying no a lot more often, because in the end, having like a half yes, it's actually a no, right? A no to how the situation is now. And maybe there's just a little tweak needed. It's not like, oh my god, I never in my life want to have sex with you. But still, it's not a full yes. So anyway, so announce it. And so the way I did it was I went to my partner, and he knew already I was working a bit on my sex life, I would say, like, the way I'm experiencing sex. And so I was telling him that I discovered this thing, that sometimes I was tolerating. And he was, quite shocked and quite, he really didn't want that. He really didn't want to do anything that I didn't enjoy. But I just told him that, I'm on this journey to really learn what I like and what we like together. I really want to improve that. I want to make the most of it. It's fun, right? Let's make it super fun. And I want to be more aware of these moments where there's, if even just 1% of like, and I want to tell you, and I want to make sure I say to you in a way that's, that's easy to receive. And I want to do it so it benefits, both of us. So whatever way you say it, stress that it's not the other person didn't do anything wrong so far. It was just you, right, not saying anything, and you want to change that out of an interest for both of you, out of an interest for yourself and the connection. So I did that, and then, the experiment started. I was gonna say no a lot more. I was gonna, see what would happen. And so what happened is that, first of all, I discovered there were a lot more actually of these gray zone moments than I thought, which was, a bit painful, a bit shocking, especially because I was also imagining already back then. I didn't know if I thought I was going to share this someday, but I was already imagining, if it happens to me, I'm quite self-connected. I'm quite, I'm quite trained in MVC to be aware of my half yeses. But if this is going on for me, how many people might this be going on for? And I was going to say women. I don't know if you saw that. But it's women and men, I believe. So actually I'm curious, if you're a man and you relate to this, please let me know. I talked about this with some men as well, and I heard a few men as well. So it's really not only women. And also not only straight relationships, right? It doesn't matter. And so anyway, I said no more often. And this is where I want to give you a tip, which is it's important the way you say no. And so instead of saying, stop or no. That might sometimes be needed if you really want quickly to stir the situation. Maybe you don't know this person so well, maybe you don't know each other so well, you want to be clear right away because you really don't like something. That's fine. But I'm talking more about when you feel relatively safe actually with this person, and there's no need to repeat yourself before they listen to you. You've noticed that they follow your suggestions or something. Then you can just be like, well, for example, what would happen for me is that my partner would be touching me and I would notice like, yeah, actually my head is somewhere else. So I would just say, hey, can we stop for a minute? I notice I'm super distracted. Can I just express what's going on? And then I'll have more like space for this, or to be more present, So that would be one thing to say. Or say, for example, my partner is like touching my boobs or something like, and I'm not ready, or let's say he's touching my genitals, he's touching my vagina and I'm like, oh, I'm not ready for this. I could say like, hey, I notice my pussy's not really ready yet, can you first touch my boobs? I'm getting a bit shy talking about these things. Anyway. But anyway, yeah. So you hear me doing two things. So first of all, am I blushing? First of all, I'm not saying this big no. I'm saying what I do want, right? So I'm saying I would like a little moment to express what's on my mind. Or, I would like you to do this other thing that is still in the realm of touching and connecting, And to make sex more of a really listening, like in the moment, what's joyful to do. And it could be so much more creative and so much more undefined, I would say. Like, we have this image of sex means, we're kissing, we're hugging, taking off clothes, having intercourse and having a hug or something, but it could be this whole dance together. If you're both being honest, that's super amazing. And in order to be very concrete when you say what you want, I wrote down a few things because I see this happening a lot with myself, and I think it happens more often to other people as well. So first of all, don't say these very vague things like, let's take it slowly. What does that mean? Does it mean you only want to kiss? Or does it mean we're not going to have intercourse, but maybe we are going to do a hand job or something? Like, what does it mean slowly for you? Or when you say, don't touch me down there, as a woman, what does it mean? Does it mean you don't want the guy to go inside your vagina? Does it mean you don't even want him to touch your labia? Does it mean you don't even want him to touch your inner thighs? Get comfortable, and I'm practicing this myself, I'm comfortable with my boyfriend, but not on camera, but to name the things, to really know the names and to use them, because it's really hard if someone is vague with you and it creates confusion and then stuff happens that you don't want. You might not know what you want, right? This happens a lot, I think, with people, that they don't know what they want. And so use this phrase, hey, can we take a minute so I can just think about what I want right now? And actually, Gianluca, my boyfriend, is using this now, and it's actually kind of a turn on even. Like, he's just saying, hey, do you want to think a minute about what you would really love right now? And I'm just thinking, and then somehow, if I really take a minute, something comes up that I didn't expect myself. And it's always something more creative that we didn't do before, or it's with a certain energy that is more interesting. And so I can really recommend to either say that you want to take this minute, or ask the other person, like, hey, can you take a minute to just think what you would really love to do right now? Like anything out of the box. And it can be as regular as, I would really love a massage right now. Just rub my back. That's fine too. The result for me was amazing. Well, first of all, my partner was really super thankful. He's really attentive, and he was at some moment noticing that I had this certain look, which he would be able to tell that I was somewhere else with my mind, which is the most thing going on. I'm thinking about my work and everything, because I'm addicted to my work. It doesn't matter, but so I would be not so present, and I would just take this little question of him, like, hey, where are you? Like just that. So we really got to know each other. That's the first thing. And I was really thankful for how he was noticing this. I want to express that. Secondly, even more amazingly, what I noticed after even a few weeks, I think, is that my libido got a lot higher. And you know why? I was thinking like, wow, whoa, what's happening? Seriously, I was really noticing the difference. And so what I think happened is that my body, my system, first of all, started to trust, if we want something, she's going to listen to us. If we don't want something, she's also going to listen and she's going to act on it. We're safe here, This relaxation is, of course, really essential to opening up, to being literally naked to someone, but also metaphorically, right? It's quite vulnerable. And also just this association of fun with this particular person, like, ooh, if we're together with him, it's going to be fun. That's what my body is starting to trust, and that's why the anticipation was going up. And that's actually what is your libido, right? It's this anticipation of this wish of like going for more, exploring more. And so that's what's happening for us. It was really, I was super excited. And so I waited for a while sharing with you guys because I was really shy. I'm always really shy talking about sex, but I gotta get over this thing because it's too important. I really wanted to share that with you. And so that's my story. And I just what I want to recommend to you is to, first of all, start noticing if you're doing this, start admitting it to yourself, talk about it with your partner. Make sure that you if necessary, you say no, you can say whatever. It's very important to say in whatever way you want. But just because of this whole, I was thinking also about this Me Too movement, where I think for men, especially for men, it's been quite difficult, and let me know again in the comments if you agree, to relax in sex and to I think there's a lot of clarity needed, You're supposed to give, or you're the one that can give the clarity about what you want and what you don't want, right? And quite often that's all that's needed for you and the other person to have like this amazing safe play together. And so I really would wish somehow for men to be able to relax instead of having this association of men are perpetrators, and that's a bit how they sometimes are portrayed. And so there's so many, there's I don't know. I just wish a lot of compassion for that as well. And so I think if you're able to say it in a way that's more connecting, then it would be, I think, really appreciated if you do so. Of course, same goes for the guy, right? He can also do that. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I'm nervous publishing this, so please let me know if this was useful for you and if you can relate to it. If you have any other advice maybe you've experienced with this, I would love for us to help each other in the comments as well. So let me know. I'm always staying online the first 2 hours after I publish a video, and so for that reason it's also helpful to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always know when I publish something. And give this video a thumbs up if you think I was being quite courageous sharing this thing, and if you'd love to see more stuff like this. Alright, see you next time. Ciao!